furious. We're here at the first annual ADM Shift and Drift event in El Segundo, and we can't wait to show you all the cool Japanese imports. So let's get revved up.
Well, this is something that we started to create about 4 or 5 months ago. We've never done a Japanese car show at the museum.
What inspired the event was the famous classic yellow Nissan 240Z, which was also the headliner of the motor event.
Unseen, hidden for years, and we looked at it and we said, we need to do something. What's a big car group that doesn't come to this museum? And it was the Japanese cars. They have never been here.
Yutaka Katayama, also known as Mr. K, is the former president of Nissan. He is regarded by many Datsun Nissan car enthusiasts as the father of the Z car. When he retired, he gifted his prized Nissan 240Z to his longtime secretary, Johnny Ueda Gable. I am here with Johnny, who is the owner of the famous Nissan 240Z. Tell us about your famous yellow car.
It's a 1972 240Z. It was the first automatic that we released from the docks in San Pedro. And Mr. K and Mr. Katayama wanted an automatic because he was tired of driving stick shift in LA. So I released that car to him, and he had it, and it was his personal driver until 1977 when he retired and went back to Japan, and I've had it ever since.
Over 75 Japanese cars and more than 400 people attended the inaugural car show. Other notable celebrity car enthusiasts also attended.
Well, this is a 1987 Nissan Pulsar NX, and I am a car designer. I've been a car designer for about 20 years. This is one of the cars that made me want to become a car designer, and it was one of the designs that made me want to design for Nissan when I was younger. So I did end up designing for Nissan for about 10 years before opening my own consultancy, and I was lucky enough to design for Doug Wilson, who designed this car, and so the car is very special to me. I love a lot of the things they were doing with this car in that era. Very modular, planar, very graphic sensibility, and all that kind of stuff was really unique in the 80s, and I love that.
I am here today at Shift and Drift with legendary car racer John Morton. How are you today?
I'm good. It's good to see all these Datsuns and Toyotas and whatever, Mazdas here.
You've been racing for 48 years. Tell us about your career.
Actually, I've been racing for 53 years.
That's over 5 decades. Tell us about that legendary career.
Well, I started with Carroll Shelby in Cobras, working for Shelby and then driving for him, and then I ended up with in El Segundo driving for Peter Brock in the Datsun team. We won 2 national championships in the 240Z, and then we won 2 Trans Am championships in the Datsun 510.
So I'm here with Ryan, who is a member of Club 4AG. Tell us about what drifting really is.
Drifting is a method of car control, kind of beyond just standard track racing where it's all about coming in first and second. It's judged a little more subjectively by things like how much angle you have, how much tire smoke you're making, and also if you're following a proper racing line. So whereas it's kind of more artistic as opposed to just static where it's like, okay, you're this much faster than this guy.
How did drifting come into play? How did it originate?
There's a couple different stories on how it came to be, but we pretty much accept that it started off in the canyons in Japan. Guys used to go up there and kind of race each other, and when you had cars back then tire technology wasn't what it is today, so cars would slip around a lot, and how to maintain that while maintaining speed down these narrow corners is kind of how that got started and kind of became into an event of its own, besides just an extension of car control.
So Ryan's gonna give us a mini tutorial about how to drift. I'm so excited.
So the most basic way that everyone's going to learn how to drift is doing what's called a donut, which is essentially going in a circle. And the hardest thing for people to learn is how to get that started. Now, the most common way that most people learn is what we call an e-brake pull. So you're going to use the e-brake to kind of lock up the rear wheels to get the car to rotate, and then you get back on the power to keep the donut going or to keep your sideways motion going. And so it's pretty simple. When you're usually in first gear, typically for donuts because you're at low speed, and all you're going to do is as you initiate the turn, you turn into it, clutch is in, you you yank the e-brake really hard. Not just like you're parking the car like most people just do that. When you want to lock it up, you really lock it up and put it back down, clutch back out. And what that does is the rear wheels are in motion, they just stop and causes the back end to slide out, and then you get back on the power by letting the clutch back out. And there you go.
It was also bonding time for brothers James and John.
Oh, it's great. All the cars are amazing. I was looking at all the Supras and as well as many Skylines here. Lots of Japanese imports, so I'm very happy to see.
I really appreciate, all these beautiful cars just laid out here, and then just appreciate like the hard work that goes into like making these cars that beautiful.
He's a car guy. We watch Initial D with each other, watch anime, So this is actually very special for me and him. So.
Well, what's really great is that majority, almost 90% or more of these people that came here today have not heard of the Automobile Driving Museum and have really not even been to El Segundo. We had people that came from San Bernardino, Paso Robles, San Diego, San Clemente, and they drove in. Now they're here in El Segundo.
Having seen this year's success, Hitzig hopes to do the import car event every year. She says the Automobile Driving Museum also plans to have a different car show every month starting next year. Reporting for El Segundo TV, I'm Amy Liu.